As we're all now well into the 2021-22 season, I thought it'd be appropriate to take a look at a handful of players that have been struggling. As you may recall, I did a similar video on the subject in October, but obviously, most of the players, with the exception of one, have picked up their game. However, this time around, the downward trend has been evident for quite some time for each player featured, meaning that it's no longer considered a slow start to the season, but rather a consistent skid into mediocrity, unfortunately. And with that, here are 5 NHL players that are continuing to struggle this season. Back in late November, Matt Murray was completely blindsided as he was sent down to the AHL for the first time since winning 2 Stanley Cups. As a netminder, who was looked at initially as the answer for the young team between the pipes, struggled in his first 6 appearances in the season while sporting a below .900 save percentage and failing to secure a W. Therefore, the decision was made by Pierre Dorion and company to send Murray down to Belleville, who had battled COVID and injuries early in the season, in hopes that he could once again find his game. And after suiting up for a pair of contests with the Belleville Senators, Murray appeared to be at least at that level anyways, to have found some rhythm yet again. This along with the fact that both Philip Gustafsson and Anton Forsberg were simultaneously out due to COVID protocols, Ottawa made the decision to call Murray up for a game against divisional rival, the Toronto Maple Leafs. But unfortunately, things didn't go as the Senators would have hoped for Murray in the crease for his return, as he ended up surrendering 6 goals against Toronto, with 2 of them being on the man advantage for his team, and finishing with a .850 save percentage. Obviously, in his position, as most of us know, not all of the blame is on his shoulders. But it's hard not to imagine that more pressure is on Murray to perform, and will continue to be if he wants to remain in the NHL. This past October, James Neal ended up representing his 7th team after impressing St. Louis during his PTO and scoring a 1-year deal with the Blues at league minimum. The forwards looked to bounce back after getting bought out by the Edmonton Oilers last offseason and hopefully to cement his place in the lineup. And really, things started off well for the real deal, all things considered, as the forward scored a hat trick for his new team during the preseason and ended up finishing as the team's leading scorer prior to his regular season debut. However, after only mustering up 4 points after 17 games played and remaining on injury reserve since November, Neal was placed on waivers as the new year approached. Surprisingly though, despite his affordable $750,000 contract, experience, and previous 40-goal season on record, Neal wasn't picked up by any of the 31 teams that could have snagged him. Therefore, after clearing waivers, Neal will now be making his way down to the AHL for the first time in over 13 years. For Denis Gurianov, coming into the season for Dallas, the forward was looking to redeem himself after a lackluster campaign previously with his team, as the 24-year-old had a remarkable 2019-2020 season while breaking through and scoring 20 goals while recording 29 points in 64 games played. Unfortunately though, starting last season, Gurianov began going through long goalless stretches, including one last season where he failed to tickle the twine in 15 consecutive games. This campaign has been about the same thus far for number 34, as he was a healthy scratch for a game against Winnipeg. Currently in the middle of a 11-game goal drought with 10 points in 28 games thus far, Gurianov is on a team surrounded by others who are struggling to simply put the puck in the net. Prior to Philadelphia welcoming Carter Hart to the crease, the Edmonton Oilers seem to be in the same predicament as the Flyers used to be for season upon season, as the team hasn't had a bona fide number 1 starter for a hot minute. Sure, Mike Smith has shown shades of brilliance previously, but now, just months away from turning 40, his age and the combination of injuries he's sustained seem to be ailing number 41. And aside from up-and-comer Stuart Skinner, who is still developing, the team has been forced to rely on Mikko Koskinen between the pipes for most of the season. But unfortunately, as we've seen in previous seasons, the Finnish tendy simply isn't number 1 starter material, and it shows. With a .900 save percentage currently and a 3.19 goals against average, after 20 games played for Edmonton, Koskinen has not only struggled to impress fans, but also head coach Dave Tippett, who called the netminder out following his brutal giveaway to Alexis Lafreniere in the Big Apple, while saying, "Our goaltending wasn't very good. It's a brutal mistake. What are you going to do? Call it what it is. We're playing well, and it's a brutal mistake," he says. In Toronto, as we've witnessed, there always seems to be a whipping boy of some sort. Jake Gardiner, Tyson Barrie, etc., etc. Typically, they're on the back end and are underperforming. And as many of us know, Maple Leaf fans can be hardcore, but this time around, their distaste for defenseman Justin Holl's game is pretty justifiable from a statistical standpoint. And really, it's proven disappointing as Holl seemed to show promise on the Blue Line last campaign, as the team won 54.65% of the expected goals with Holl on ice. His offensive production was also a career best, as the defenseman recorded 20 points in 55 games played. However, coming into the current season, number 3 has struggled alongside Jake Muzzin on the second pairing. With an underwhelming 2 points in 25 games played, the defenseman's name has been mentioned in the trade rumor mill now for quite some time. As Muzzin begins to show his age and Holl struggles alongside him, it's only a matter of time until the pair is split up by head coach Sheldon Keefe.